Imagine having the power to create anything you want in life just by changing the way you think. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Neville Goddard's law of assumption promises. This isn't about complex rituals or hard-to-follow techniques. It's all about a simple shift in your mindset that can open doors you never thought possible. Here's the thing. If you don't change what's going on inside your head, nothing in your life will change. It's that simple. The law of assumption isn't just another self-help trick. It's a powerful tool that can completely transform your reality. But here's the catch. You need to be ready to face some inner challenges. You might need to let go of old beliefs and embrace new ways of thinking. It's not always easy, but the results can be life-changing. So what exactly is this law of assumption? At its core, it's the idea that your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality. Neville Goddard, a famous spiritual teacher, said that if you assume something is true and really feel it in your bones, it will become true in your life. It's like you're sending a message to the universe saying, "This is what I want." And the universe responds by making it happen. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a garden. The thoughts you plant are the seeds. If you plant seeds of doubt, worry, and negativity, that's what will grow in your life. But if you plant seeds of positivity, success, and abundance, that's what you'll see blooming all around you. The law of assumption isn't about wishful thinking or daydreaming. It's about truly believing that what you want is already yours. It's about feeling the joy, excitement, and gratitude of having your desire right now, even if you can't see it in the physical world yet. This might sound a bit strange at first. After all, we're used to believing only what we can see with our eyes. But the law of assumption flips this on its head. It says that seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. When you truly believe something, you start to notice opportunities and possibilities you might have missed before. Let's say you want a new job. Instead of worrying about whether you'll get it, the law of assumption tells you to act as if you already have it. How would you feel waking up for your dream job? What would your day look like? By assuming these feelings and experiences, you start to align yourself with that reality. It's important to understand that this isn't about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about shifting your perspective and aligning your thoughts and feelings with what you want to create in your life. When you do this, you start to act differently. You make different choices. You spot opportunities you might have missed before. The law of assumption also teaches that everything already exists in what Neville called the invisible realm. Your job is simply to choose what you want to experience and then assume it into being. It's like changing the channel on a TV. All the channels exist at the same time, but you only see the one you've tuned into. By changing your assumptions, you're essentially changing the channel of your life. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is that it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you realize that you have the power to shape your reality. This can be incredibly freeing and empowering. However, it's crucial to remember that this isn't about controlling others or manipulating the world around you. It's about aligning yourself with the reality you want to experience. The law of assumption works in harmony with the free will of others and the natural flow of the universe. As you start to work with the law of assumption, you might notice small changes at first. Maybe you feel more confident, or you start to see more opportunities. These are signs that your new assumptions are starting to take root. The key is to keep going, to keep assuming the best, even when things don't seem to be changing on the outside. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, but there's often a time lag. Just like it takes time for a seed to grow into a plant, it can take time for your new assumptions to fully manifest in your life. This is where patience and persistence come in. The law of assumption isn't a quick fix or a magic wand. It's a way of living, a way of thinking that can lead to profound changes over time. It's about consistently aligning your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with what you want to create in your life. As you practice the law of assumption, you might find that your desires change. As you start to experience more of what you want, you might discover new dreams and goals. This is all part of the process of growth and self-discovery that comes with this practice. One of the beautiful things about the law of assumption is that it can be applied to any area of your life. Whether you want to improve your relationships, boost your career, enhance your health, or increase your wealth, the principle remains the same. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and watch as your reality begins to align with your assumption. It's also worth noting that the law of assumption isn't about constant positivity or denying reality. It's about consciously choosing where to put your focus and energy. You can acknowledge challenges while still maintaining the assumption of your desired outcome. As you dive deeper into the law of assumption, you might find it challenging at times. Old habits and beliefs can be stubborn. Doubts might creep in. This is all normal and part of the process. The key is to be gentle with yourself and keep returning to your desired assumption. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Neville Goddard himself spoke about his own journey of discovery and practice with the law of assumption. It's a skill that you can develop and refine over time. One helpful way to think about the law of assumption is to imagine you're watching a movie. When you're engrossed in a good film, you temporarily forget about your own life and become immersed in the story on the screen. The law of assumption invites you to become similarly engrossed in the movie of your desired life. This doesn't mean you ignore your current reality entirely. Instead, you acknowledge it while simultaneously holding the assumption of your desired state. It's like having one foot in the present and one foot in the future you're creating. As you practice the law of assumption, you might find that your intuition becomes stronger. You might get hunches or ideas that lead you towards your goals. This is all part of the process. As you align with your desired reality, you naturally start to think and act in ways that support that reality. It's also important to understand that the law of assumption isn't about forcing things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with what you want and then allowing it to come to you in the most natural and effortless way. This often requires letting go of the how and trusting in the process. Many people find that as they practice the law of assumption, their overall outlook on life becomes more positive. They start to see possibilities where before they saw obstacles. They become more resilient in the face of challenges because they trust in their ability to create their reality. The law of assumption also invites you to take responsibility for your life in a profound way. Instead of blaming others or circumstances for your situation, you recognize that your assumptions and beliefs have played a key role in creating your current reality. This can be challenging at first, but it's ultimately empowering because it means you have the power to change things. As you work with the law of assumption, you might find that your relationships improve. This is because your assumptions about others play a big role in how they show up in your life. By assuming the best about people, you often bring out their best qualities. It's worth noting that the law of assumption aligns with many other spiritual and personal development teachings. You might recognize elements of positive thinking, visualization, or the law of attraction. The unique aspect of Neville's teaching is the emphasis on feeling and embodying the state of your wish fulfilled. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is that it can help you break free from limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs about ourselves and the world that hold us back. By consciously choosing new assumptions, you can start to overcome these limitations and expand what's possible in your life. As you practice the law of assumption, you might find that you become more present and mindful. This is because you're constantly paying attention to your thoughts and feelings, choosing where to put your focus. This increased awareness can have positive effects in all areas of your life. It's also important to understand that the law of assumption isn't about never having negative thoughts or feelings. We're human, and it's natural to experience a range of emotions. The key is not to dwell on the negative, but to gently redirect your focus to your desired state. Many people find that as they work with the law of assumption, they develop a greater sense of inner peace. This comes from the understanding that you have the power to shape your experience of life. Instead of feeling at the mercy of external circumstances, you recognize your role as a creator. The law of assumption can also lead to a greater sense of gratitude. As you assume the feeling of your wishes fulfilled, you naturally start to appreciate all the good in your life. This gratitude can act as a powerful magnet, attracting more positive experiences into your life. It's worth noting that while the law of assumption can lead to external changes in your life, the most profound changes often happen within. Many people report feeling more confident, more at peace, and more in tune with themselves as they practice this principle. As you continue to work with the law of assumption, you might find that your desires evolve. What once seemed like a big goal might start to feel small as you recognize the true extent of your creative power. This is all part of the journey of growth and self-discovery. Remember, the law of assumption isn't about forcing yourself to believe something you don't. It's about choosing what you want to believe and then aligning your thoughts and feelings with that belief. It's a gentle process of redirecting your focus and energy. One helpful practice as you work with the law of assumption is to pay attention to your self-talk. The assumptions you make about yourself and your life are often reflected in the way you talk to yourself. By consciously choosing more empowering self-talk, you can support your desired assumptions. It's also important to be patient with yourself as you learn to work with the law of assumption. Like any skill, it takes practice. You might have moments of doubt or frustration. That's okay. The key is to keep returning to your desired assumption, no matter what. Many people find it helpful to start small when working with the law of assumption. Instead of trying to manifest a complete life overhaul overnight, begin with smaller desires. As you see results, your confidence will grow, and you can apply the principle to bigger goals. The law of assumption also invites you to be more specific about what you want. Instead of vague wishes, it encourages you to really imagine and feel what your desired reality would be like. The more vivid and detailed your assumption, the more powerful it can be. As you practice the law of assumption, you might find that you become more aware of the power of your imagination. Neville Goddard taught that imagination is the creative force of the universe. By harnessing your imagination, you can start to create real changes in your life. It's worth noting that the law of assumption doesn't mean you never take action in the physical world. In fact, as you align with your desired reality, you'll likely feel inspired to take actions that support your goals. The difference is that these actions come from a place of alignment rather than struggle. Many people find that as they work with the law of assumption, they develop a greater sense of trust in the universe. They start to see how events and circumstances often work out in unexpected but beneficial ways. This can lead to a more relaxed and confident approach to life. The law of assumption also invites you to question your current beliefs and assumptions. Are they serving you? Are they aligned with the reality you want to create? By becoming aware of your assumptions, you gain the power to change them. As you continue to practice the law of assumption, you might find that manifestation becomes more effortless. Instead of trying to force things to happen, you learn to align with your desires and allow them to unfold naturally. Remember, the law of assumption is not about ignoring reality or living in denial. It's about consciously choosing where to put your focus and energy. You can acknowledge current circumstances while still maintaining the assumption of your desired state. Many people find it helpful to create a daily practice around the law of assumption. This might involve visualization, affirmations, or simply checking in with your assumptions throughout the day. Consistency is key in creating lasting change. It's also important to understand that working with the law of assumption doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or obstacles. Life will still have its ups and downs. The difference is in how you approach these challenges, maintaining the assumption of your ultimate success and well-being. As you deepen your practice of the law of assumption, you might find that your relationship with time changes. Instead of anxiously waiting for things to happen, you learn to trust in the perfect unfolding of events. This can lead to a more peaceful and present-focused way of living. Many people report that as they work with the law of assumption, they become more aware of synchronicities and coincidences in their lives. These can be seen as confirmations that your new assumptions are taking root and manifesting in your reality. The law of assumption also invites you to take full ownership of your life experience. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you recognize your role as the creator of your reality. This shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering. As you practice the law of assumption, you might find that your desires become more aligned with your true self. Instead of chasing after things you think you should want, you start to connect with your authentic desires and aspirations. It's worth noting that the law of assumption isn't about controlling others or manipulating reality. It's about aligning yourself with the reality you want to experience. This alignment naturally influences your interactions and experiences in positive ways. Many people find that as they work with the law of assumption, they become more aware of the stories they tell themselves about their lives. By consciously choosing empowering narratives, they can support their desired assumptions and create positive change. Remember, the law of assumption is a tool for personal growth and transformation. It's not about achieving perfection or never having negative thoughts. It's about consciously directing your focus and energy towards what you want to create in your life. As you continue to work with the law of assumption, you might find that your definition of success changes. Instead of external achievements, you might start to value inner peace, joy, and alignment more highly. This shift can lead to a more fulfilling and balanced life. The law of assumption also invites you to be more present in your daily life. By focusing on the feeling of your desires fulfilled now, you bring your attention to the present moment. This can lead to a richer, more enjoyable experience of life. Many people find that as they practice the law of assumption, they become more aware of their emotional state. They learn to use their feelings as a guide, choosing thoughts and assumptions that lead to positive emotional states. It's important to remember that working with the law of assumption is a journey, not a destination. There will always be new desires to manifest, new levels of growth to achieve. The key is to enjoy the process and trust in your ability to create positive change in your life. Have you ever noticed how your day seems to go the way you expect it to? There's a reason for that. Your thoughts are like seeds you plant in the garden of your life. What you think about most often tends to show up in your experiences. This is the heart of the law of assumption. Think about it this way. If you wake up expecting a bad day, you're more likely to notice all the little things that go wrong. You might focus on the traffic, the spilled coffee, or the grumpy coworker. But if you start your day believing good things will happen, you're more likely to spot opportunities, kindness, and little moments of joy. This doesn't mean that just thinking about something will make it appear out of thin air. It's more like tuning a radio. Your thoughts and beliefs are the dial, and they determine which station or reality you're tuned into. When you change your thoughts, you start to pick up a different frequency of experiences. Here's the exciting part. This means you have more control over your life than you might think. By consciously choosing your thoughts and beliefs, you can start to shape your reality. It's like being the director of your own movie. You get to decide what kind of story you want to live. But it's not just about positive thinking. The law of assumption goes deeper. It's about really feeling and believing that what you want is already yours. When you do this, you start to act differently. You make choices that align with your desired reality. You become more open to opportunities that can make your desires a reality. For example, if you want a promotion at work, don't just think, "I hope I get promoted." Instead, assume the feeling of already having that promotion. How would you carry yourself? What kind of decisions would you make? How would you interact with your colleagues? By embodying these feelings and behaviors, you naturally start to align yourself with the reality of having that promotion. This principle applies to all areas of life. Relationships, health, finances, they're all influenced by your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If you constantly worry about money, you might overlook opportunities to improve your financial situation. But if you assume abundance, you're more likely to notice and act on chances to increase your wealth. It's important to understand that this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing where to put your focus and energy. You can acknowledge challenges while still maintaining the assumption of your desired outcome. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By changing your thoughts and assumptions, you begin to change your reality. It might not happen overnight, but with consistent practice, you'll start to see shifts in your experiences that align with your new way of thinking. Now that we understand how our thoughts shape our reality, let's dive into one of the most powerful techniques in the law of assumption: living in the end result. This is where the magic really happens. Living in the end result means imagining and feeling as if your desire has already come true. It's about stepping into the shoes of your future self who has already achieved what you want. This isn't just daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's about fully embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Here's how it works. Instead of focusing on the process of getting what you want, you skip ahead in your mind to already having it. You create a vivid mental picture of your desire as if it's happening right now. More importantly, you let yourself feel the emotions you'd feel if your wish had come true. For example, let's say you want to own your dream home. Instead of constantly thinking about how hard it will be to save money or find the right property, you'd imagine yourself already living in that home. What does it look like? How does it feel to wake up there every morning? What kind of life are you living now that you have this home? The key is to make this mental scene as real and vivid as possible. Use all your senses. What do you see? What sounds do you hear? What does it smell like? The more real you can make it in your mind, the more powerful this technique becomes. But it's not just about visualization. The real power comes from the feeling. How would you feel if you were living in your dream home right now? Maybe you'd feel secure, proud, comfortable, or grateful. Whatever those feelings are, let yourself experience them fully. This might feel strange at first, especially if your current reality is very different from what you desire. But remember, according to the law of assumption, your imagination is the creative power that shapes your reality. By living in the end result in your mind, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious and to the universe about what you want to experience. When you consistently live in the end result, something interesting starts to happen. You begin to think and act in ways that align with your desired reality. If you're living as if you already have your dream job, you might find yourself dressing differently, speaking more confidently, or taking on new challenges that you previously thought were beyond you. This shift in your thoughts and actions opens up new possibilities. You start to notice opportunities that you might have missed before. People might respond to you differently. Situations might unfold in unexpected ways that bring you closer to your goal. It's important to practice living in the end result regularly. You could set aside time each day to vividly imagine and feel your desire fulfilled. Some people find it helpful to do this just before falling asleep or right after waking up, when the mind is in a relaxed and receptive state. Remember, the goal isn't to escape reality or ignore your current circumstances. It's about holding the assumption of your desired state even as you go about your daily life. It's like having one foot in the present and one in the future you're creating. Living in the end result also helps you overcome doubt and fear. When you're fully immersed in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, there's no room for worry about whether it will happen or how it will happen. You're too busy enjoying the experience of it already being true. This technique can be applied to any area of your life. Whether you want to improve your health, boost your career, find love, or achieve a personal goal, living in the end result can help you align with that reality and bring it into your experience. Now that we've explored how to live in the end result, let's talk about something equally important: persistence and faith. These are the fuel that keeps your manifestation engine running. Persistence means sticking with your assumption even when things don't seem to be changing in your outer world. It's about holding on to your vision and feeling no matter what. This can be challenging, especially when your current reality doesn't match what you're trying to create. But remember, there's often a time lag between your inner shift and outer changes. Think of it like planting a seed. When you put a seed in the ground, you don't see anything happen right away. But you trust that below the surface, things are changing. You water the seed and tend to the soil, even though you can't see the plant growing yet. That's what persistence in the law of assumption is like. You might have days where it's hard to maintain your assumption. Maybe things happen that seem to contradict what you're trying to manifest. This is where faith comes in. Faith is about trusting in the process, even when you can't see the results yet. Faith doesn't mean blind belief. It's about trusting in the power of your own consciousness to shape your reality. It's about understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, and that by consistently holding your desired state within, you're causing changes that will eventually show up in your life. One way to build faith is to start with small manifestations. Maybe you assume you'll see a certain type of car, or that someone will give you a compliment. As you see these smaller assumptions come true, your faith in the process grows. You can then apply this faith to bigger desires. Persistence and faith work together. Your persistence in holding your assumption strengthens your faith, and your faith makes it easier to persist. It's a powerful cycle that keeps you aligned with your desired reality. It's important to understand that persistence doesn't mean forcing things to happen. It's not about struggling or trying to control external events. It's about gently and consistently returning to your assumption no matter what's happening around you. Sometimes people give up too soon. They try living in the end result for a few days or weeks, and when they don't see immediate changes, they conclude it doesn't work. But manifestation isn't always instant. Big changes often require time to unfold. Your job is to keep holding the assumption, trusting that things are aligning behind the scenes. One helpful practice is to look for signs that your assumption is working. Maybe you overhear a conversation related to your desire, or you come across information that could help you achieve your goal. These synchronicities can boost your faith and encourage you to persist. Remember, the law of assumption isn't about never having doubts or negative thoughts. It's about what you consistently focus on and assume to be true. When doubts come up, acknowledge them, but then gently return to your desired assumption. Persistence also means being patient with yourself. You're learning a new way of thinking and being. It's natural for old thought patterns to come up. The key is to keep redirecting your focus to your desired state without judging yourself for momentary lapses. Faith can be strengthened by reflecting on past successes. Think about times in your life when things worked out well, even if you couldn't see how they would at first. This can remind you that good things often unfold in unexpected ways. It's also helpful to surround yourself with supportive influences. Read books or listen to talks that reinforce these principles. Spend time with people who believe in the power of positive thinking. The more you immerse yourself in these ideas, the easier it becomes to persist and maintain faith. Remember, persistence and faith are skills that you can develop over time. The more you practice, the stronger they become. And as they grow stronger, you'll find it easier to maintain your desired assumptions and create the reality you want. At first, nothing seemed to change in my outer world, but I persisted with my assumption. I kept living in the end result of having a fulfilling career, even when my current circumstances contradicted it. After a few weeks, I noticed small shifts. I started to see job postings that aligned with what I wanted. I met people at networking events who worked in fields I was interested in. These synchronicities boosted my faith and encouraged me to keep going with my assumption. Then, about 2 months into this practice, an unexpected opportunity arose. A former colleague reached out about a position at her company. It was almost exactly what I had been imagining in my visualizations. I went through the interview process all the while maintaining my assumption that I already had my dream job. And you know what? I got the position. It offered everything I had been assuming: fulfilling work, great colleagues, and a sense of being valued. This experience taught me the power of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It showed me that when we change our inner world, our outer world begins to align with it. It might not always happen in the way we expect, but if we persist in our assumption, amazing things can unfold. As we wrap up our exploration of Neville Goddard's law of assumption, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've discovered that our thoughts and assumptions shape our reality, that living in the end result can powerfully align us with our desires, and that persistence and faith are key to manifesting our goals. We've also learned the importance of letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve us, and we've practiced a simple yet effective exercise to start assuming our desired reality. Through personal experience, we've seen how these principles can create real change in our lives. Remember, the law of assumption isn't about forcing things to happen or controlling the world around you. It's about aligning your inner world with what you want to experience, and then allowing that alignment to naturally influence your outer reality. This practice requires patience and consistency. You're retraining your mind, creating new neural pathways, and that takes time. Be gentle with yourself as you learn and grow. Celebrate small successes along the way, as they're signs that you're on the right track. As you continue to work with the law of assumption, you may find that your relationship with life itself changes. Instead of feeling at the mercy of external circumstances, you'll recognize your power as a creator of your experience. This shift can bring a profound sense of peace and empowerment. Keep in mind that this is a lifelong journey of growth and self-discovery. Your desires may change as you evolve, and that's perfectly okay. The law of assumption gives you the tools to continually shape and reshape your reality as you grow and change. So I encourage you to take what you've learned here and apply it in your life. Start with something small if that feels more comfortable. As you see results, your faith will grow, and you can apply these principles to bigger goals and dreams. Remember, you are the author of your life story. With the law of assumption, you have the power to write any story you choose. So dream big, assume the best, and watch as your world transforms to match your grandest visions. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and empowerment. Here's to creating a life beyond your wildest dreams, one assumption at a time.